Hey guys, good morning. It's Amy. Today is Saturday, June 17th, and we are going to talk about the Super Bowl. I know it's a little late for the Super Bowl talk, but we got a headline yesterday about the ring ceremony, and it is scripted just like everything else. So, guys, if you're new here, I am teaching gematria, which is the practice of coding letters into numbers. It's an ancient practice brought, go all the way back to the Babylonian times. And it's been hijacked by the Kabbalah. Simply taking your alphabet the way they taught you in slave school, A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, you're going to reverse it. And then you're going to do the same thing, and every letter is going to be a single digit, meaning Z being the 26th letter in the forward would be 6 plus 2 is 8. And then you're simply going to reduce it back down, right? So we get this headline yesterday, and they have had a ring ceremony. And this whole ceremony is symbolic and scripted, just like everything else they do. So we got the Kansas City Chiefs celebrated their Super Bowl title Thursday night at a private ring ceremony at Union Station. So if you look at Union Station, it's got a 3-cipher match with Jesuit order. This headline, and this, well, not the headline, but the ring ceremony happened on Thursday, which was 123 days after the Super Bowl. And if you'll notice, the ring on the side says Chiefs Kingdom. It's 123 days after the Super Bowl. And we can see why they did the ring ceremony when they did it. So the Super Bowl was actually on February 12th. So let's talk about February 12th again. So the 12th of February, so if you write it out 12/2, we got the National Football League, we got Kansas City, and we got the word satanic. So this was a satanic ritual Super Bowl. So they did the Super Bowl on the Skull and Bones date this year. And football actually it's accredited to a guy named Walter Camp, and we're going to talk about him in a minute. But he actually went to Yale when he figured out, the 4 downs and all that, and he pretty much is called the fatherhood of football or something like that. We'll talk about it in a minute. So football is coming from Yale, and this game happened on the 43rd day of the year, leaving 322 days left in the year. So most people are just so excited about the Super Bowl, they don't even realize that it's scripted, and the people that present these, like the halftime show, everything, they're all scripted. They're meant to be there. They know exactly what's going to happen before it happens because these things are planned out years in advance. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's provable. So Rihanna ended up being our halftime performer. So let's keep these two numbers in your head right here, guys. So Rihanna ends up being our football halftime performer on the 43rd day of the year. Patrick Mahomes actually got to put the input into the ring design. And the Super Bowl was 149 days after Mahomes' birthday. This year here is actually the year that Skull and Bones is, or not Skull and Bones, but Yale is going to turn 322 years old this year. So this Super Bowl was scripted for around a Skull and Bones ritual. And that's why it was held on the day leaving 322 days left in the year. It's why Patrick Mahomes came out the winner 149 days from his birthday. It's exactly why Rihanna was the halftime performer on the 43rd day of the year. Because this was a big Skull and Bones ritual. And, same with the ring. So if you don't know who Skull and Bones are, guys, they are also known as the Order 322, or the Brotherhood of Death. George Bush, John Kerry, there's a bunch of people that are members of this secret society coming out of Yale. And if you simply take 322 in reverse, you get the Synagogue of Satan and Skull and Crossbones. And Skull and Crossbones is their emblem for Skull and Bones. And you know how they say to give them bread and circus and people won't do crap, and that's pretty much what's happening all across the lands now, not just America, but everywhere. You have a very small percentage of a population controlling a very big percentage of the rest of the population. And people just don't care anymore. So here's our headline that we got, and it said the Kansas City Chiefs posted the ring, and it says a ring fit for a kingdom. You got to think about it, we just got a new king too. All this comes from the Roman Catholic Church. The calendar comes from the Roman Catholic Church. And now we've got a ring fit for a kingdom. The video they posted of this ring is 1 minute and 20 seconds long. We know that's an Illuminati number. So as I said a few minutes ago, Yale's birthday is on October 9th this year. Okay, well, it's always on October 9th, but this year's special because they're going to turn 322 years old. Remember, we just talked about they're known as Order 322. So they're going to be 322 years old this year. And that's important to know because on October 9th, when they actually have their birthday, people need to be aware of this knowledge because I expect something big to happen. I don't see why they wouldn't. When they've been known to bring towers down, they've been known to do many, many rituals. And they don't care who they kill, slaughter to perform these rituals because they do make sacrifices for fortune and fame. So everybody needs to be on their P's and Q's and their toes come October 9th. So if you write out Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles, which is the two teams that were in Super Bowl this year, it equals 322. So the way they headlined it was a ring fit for a kingdom. A ring fit for a kingdom is 109. Just like if you write out the Super Bowl LV2 champion. Say it's the birthday of Skull and Bones or the birthday of Yale. See, a ring fit for a kingdom. It's crazy how they do these rituals and how perfect they are once you learn this knowledge. So they make a point to tell you that there's 54 diamonds representing the deficit in terms of the total points the Chiefs had to overcome in their two most recent Super Bowl championship playoff runs. So we've got 54 diamonds. Everything they do is symbolic, guys. So they've got 16 baguettes of diamonds for the 16 players who scored touchdowns. They've got a red backdrop by 19 rubies and 38 diamonds because the Chiefs scored 38 points, which is the 57th. So I started looking up into history about what the Super Bowl ring was because, we all know they do it, but nobody really gives us the history of it. So it just talks about pretty much that they usually use the team name, logo, and the phrase world champions, new world order, Roman numerals, Roman Catholic Church. You got to think about all this. So we're going to talk about Walter Camp. So Walter Camp is the guy that comes from Yale who created the first football, I guess, game rules. So he's pretty much the father of football. So we just read Skull and Bones is also known as the Brotherhood of Death. Walter Camp's who gave us football, and then they gave us a Super Bowl. Those Bread and Circuses, right? We know that Walter Camp was part of Freemasonry, and you can see right there in his name that he was part of it. That's why we have a Super Bowl every year, to keep all the people distracted. Looky here. So the Chiefs beat Jalen in the Super Bowl. Same year, Yale's going to turn 322 years old, where Walter Camp formed it. So Walter Camp was known as the father of American football. And what's Yale's birthday? 10-9. A ring fit for a kingdom, 10-9. Super Bowl LV2 champion, 10-9. And if you'll notice, Walter Camp was born on April 7th, which is another 4774. We're not going to get into that here, guys, if you're new, but anybody that's a veteran knows what the 4774s are. So if you're not new here, if you are new here, keep coming back. You're going to learn it. So I went on Wikipedia just to read about the Super Bowl ring, and I couldn't help but notice that this is the one that they have headlined on the very first page. And I was like, man, if that ain't symbolic right there, just by looking at it, they actually put up the Steelers ring. It almost looks like a bunch of aliens. Like, so it makes you wonder if they headline certain ones on Wikipedia and places like that just to put those symbols in people's heads, you know? It's crazy how they do this crap. And then they have this one as the second one down on Wikipedia. And look, that's the all-seeing eye. Like, what are they doing, you know? So then I just kind of took some screenshots of the older school, ones just to see how symbolic they are. And you can see it. Like once you learn what the all-seeing eye is and you start learning what their symbolism is, look at the amount these rings are worth, guys. This is more than an average yearly salary for most people. And they get a ring that costs more than we'll ever make in our whole lifetimes. Because society is controlled by a very small elite group of people that use gematria to form the rituals that keep people busy. And now we know, why this ring came out when it did. A ring fit for a kingdom. In tribute to the Skull and Bones birthday this year. Right, and now we know why they done it 123 days after the Super Bowl. And we know why this is the headlined side of the ring. It's a ring fit for a kingdom, right? Like, these people are so freaking sick, man. Chief's Kingdom, 123 days later. These people are so sick, man. But guys, like and share, subscribe. Love y'all, and I'll catch you on the next one.